There you go. Good evening and welcome to Talking Songs with me, Roland Jones. How are we all doing today? How is life out there in the big wide world? It's grey here, I'm afraid to say. It's the last day of August and it feels like October. But we shall battle on regardless. I don't know about you guys. How was your weekend gone? I had a busy weekend. I've done 3 gigs over the weekend, which is more than I've done for the last 18 months, I think. And I have to say, it's taken it out of me a bit. The also bizarre thing was to find that, because I did a gig with a band on Saturday, and you can't really play a Telecaster sitting down, can you? So I did it standing up, and after 2:45s, even that Telecaster felt a bit heavy. But, you know, you got to do these things. You have to make sacrifices. Right, I'm just going to adjust that a little bit there. So yes, but it's nice. It's nice to be back out doing things. And if any of you are listening, I shall be appearing down in London later on this week. So I shall put a little thing out saying where we are. We're at Babel in North London, which I'm really looking forward to. Something a bit different. So, before I introduce my guest for this evening, I shall do you a little tune. And this is called The True True Blues. Not born in the Windy City, never traveled down Route 66. You wanna play the blues guitar, you got the chords, you got the licks. Your woman has treated you badly, your friends have let you down. You lost your job a second time, got no money to hit the town. Got that feeling you paid your dues. Bad feeling. You got the true blues. You got that feeling. You paid your dues. Bad feeling. You got the true blues. You're feeling kinda lonely, like the last man standing alive. You never felt this bad before, you don't know if you will survive. There's problems round every corner, lightning waiting to strike. Always more trouble ahead of you, you know this cannot be right. Got that feeling, you paid your dues. Bad feeling. You've got the true blues. You got that feeling. You paid your dues. Bad feeling. You got the true blues. Things look good from the outside. You look so happy and well, but nobody knows that inside you're living in a circle of hell. Cause no one thinks you're unhappy, because you keep up that wholesome smile. You're the life and soul of the party, feeling lonely all the while. Got that feeling, you paid your dues. Bad feeling. got the true, true blues. You got that feeling. You've paid your dues. Bad, bad feeling. You got the true, true. 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 You got the true, true blues. Yes, I performed that in a club in Manchester some years ago, and somebody wrote it up in whatever paper it was, saying that, and Roland Jones played the Choo Choo Blues, which I was rather upset about because I thought my diction was so much better than that, but it clearly isn't. So, over to my guest for today, who is Mr. Ian Roberts. Where are we? We've gone. There you are.
Hey,
Hey, how are you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. How's you?
I'm all right. I'm saying, getting back to gigging this. I did a trio gig on Thursday. A trio gig on Thursday, a quartet on Saturday, and a solo gig last night. So it's
We had the same. We had the same. We gigged on Saturday afternoon at a little festival.
nice,
Saturday night at a beer festival at a club.
right?
And then Sunday nights locally at MK11, which is a decent sized venue in Milton Keynes.
Nice.
So we had 3 gigs in one weekend, which hasn't happened obviously for 18 months.
18 months. Yeah.
It was
So
marvellous.
which muscles are hurting?
I think mainly the heart muscle has gone, thank you. Thank you. I sort of remember who I am again now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Leslie said that to me on Saturday because to be honest with you, I mean, although I've been sort of doing stuff, online and I've done a few sort of duo and trio gigs over the last few weeks, I've not actually, played an electric guitar in anger for some time, and I was quite nervous about Saturday night doing it, and but a bunch of musicians I played with for a long time, and they're brilliant players, and it felt. And she said, "I've not seen you look that comfortable on stage for ages." He said, and she also said, "I've not seen you standing on one leg either," which is one of my trademark things. Apparently, is I kind of strum the guitar and sort of lean back a bit and find myself standing on one leg. So I must have been ultra relaxed. So there we are.
We loved it. It was fantastic. Just to play live again, honestly.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us were nervous. We're just so excited to get back on the stage.
Yes.
I'm more nervous in front of a screen here than I would be in front of 10,000 people out there. I'm just not used to this. And I'm looking going, what is this?
Yeah, it is a funny thing. But it's it's a chat between me and you, Ian, and other people can listen in if they want, so we'll keep it like that. So, Ian Roberts, when did music start for you then, mate?
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
My mum was a singer, and my family my mum's Irish family, my dad's Scots, moved to England when I was 5, surrounded themselves with their own, who all sang, played instruments, drank and smoked, all the things.
Marvelous.
So our front room would be full of 30 people smoking, drinking, singing all night. So and we was always asked to sing. All of us had a song when we were kids. You had to have a song,
Right.
But I grew up with that. So I grew up listening to people singing, harmonising, all that sort of stuff, guitars and everything, So I picked a guitar up when I was 14 and started to play around. A friend of my dad's had written down a few chords, and I used to sit between an old radiogram, put an LP on and go, where's that? And I'd be going, oh, it's not that.
No.
A G. Oh, it's not that. Oh, it starts with a D. It's a D. And I'll be doing this, trying to find where it was, and that's how I learned to play.
Yeah.
So, and away I went.
Scratching the record, taking it back to the beginning to get.
Oh, of course, the time. Yeah, non-stop. And then just listen to songs on the radio. Once I learned a few chords, listen to songs on radio, finding where they were. I was good at catching the melody and knowing where it's going roughly. And I still do that now. If I hear something start, I can pretty much know where it's going to go. So I can sit there and go, oh, right, I know where it's going.
So what about writing? When did you start writing songs?
Almost straight away, but I was shy. I was a shy boy. You know, I was. Everyone thinks I'm not shy now. I go on stage and jump around and things, and people think he's not shy, but I was when I was a kid, and I'm still a bit shy now. I
think
pretend.
is it not to do with the fact that when you're on stage, you are not only you are performing in the sense of singing and playing guitar, but you're actually also almost acting a role.
Well, I
You
think
know,
for me,
that's Ian Roberts, the performer.
well,
As a
no, well, maybe, but I lose myself. I lose myself in
yeah,
the music. I don't really see anything else that's going on. I don't look at anything else, and I sort of lose myself inside the music, and I turn around and listen to what's going on around us. I say some things between songs that I have no idea what I've just said until I come off stage and someone says, "Do you know when you said that?" And I think, "Oh, I don't actually know," but I just lose myself on there inside of the music. And it
yeah,
sort of protects you, doesn't it?
yeah.
That you're lost inside of there, so nothing else matters anywhere else. And that's the way to do it, I think. Uh,
Brilliant.
doesn't matter if someone's booing or anything, and it just you don't hear anything. You're just lost inside there.
Well, I think that's definitely the case because I mean I was talking to somebody about this a few episodes ago, and I was saying about that. If you're doing a live stream, it's actually much more difficult that if you sat in a pub, and even if the guy sat in the table closest to you, even if they're chatting and ignoring you completely, you've still got somebody there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Whereas you're doing a live stream and it's like you and a blank wall.
It just seems weird.
Yeah.
Just going. I'll try and lose myself on the guitar.
Excellent.
I'll pretend Wembley is out there.
So what inspires you to write songs then?
I don't think anything inspires me. They just happen.
Right.
I hear a melody in my head sometimes walking round the shop, or walking down the street or driving down the road or in bed at night time. I hear something in my head and I go, "Oh, what's that?" And I mess around with it in my head for a while until I arrange what's going to happen next. And it might be a chorus, it might be a verse. Sometimes the chorus is the verse, sometimes the voice, but it works different ways. And then it's only afterwards I pick the guitar up and go, "Oh, where's that? Where am I going with that?" And I find chords that will suit what I've got humming in my head. And once I have that all done out, I then sit with a pen and piece of paper and write out what fits the melody that I've got in my head.
Yeah.
So it tends to what people have said, "Oh, could you just sit and write a song?" You're not. No. If you said to me now, "Can you write a song while you're sitting there playing?" I wouldn't be able to do it. Or if I did, it'd be rubbish. It'd be something I'd throw away.
Yeah.
But it generally happens a lot that I just hear the sounds in my head.
That's interesting. Because one of the things that various people I've spoken to, lots of people say, well, something happens, and they think, oh, that's interesting, and they decide to write a story, write the story of that event, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Now the people say they hear a phrase, or a phrase that people use all the time, like, I don't know, that'll be the day, for example, that sort of thing, a catchphrase, and they think, well, yeah, I like that, and use that. And other people say, well, I tend to sort of sit down with a guitar, but you're the first person, I think, who's actually said that you have a melody in your head before you start, before you sit down with the instrument.
Yeah, but I've had to. I was at a doctor's surgery a few years back, and they've got all those stupid Hello magazines and OK magazines.
Yeah.
And I found this one on architecture, so I thought, oh, I'm early, I'm going to sit and read it. And I was reading about this guy who was in Manchester, who's an architect in Manchester. He's taken over the old buildings, and he just said this phrase that he loves taking old ramshackled empty spaces and creating something beautiful. And as soon as I read that ramshackled empty space, I promise you, I heard this little tune in my head. As soon as he said it, and I wrote a song called Ramshackled Empty Space, just based on what I'd read. So it can happen like that. Again, we do a song at the moment, and on our recent album, a song called Petite Notre Vie. Again, it was a friend of mine in France who's we were sitting there by the ocean, a restaurant, having a glass of wine, and I was saying, "This is great. I could stay here forever." And he went, "Petite Notre Vie," and I went, "What does that mean?" Because it sounds beautiful. And he went, "It means for all of our life." And again, as soon as he had that, I promise you, in my head, I heard this: but did not reveal. I heard that song.
Right.
I heard that in my head and I went, oh, straight over, excuse me a minute. I went over to my phone, sang in the melody I had in my head, and then wrote the song when I got back to his house. Just but
Right.
that's how it happens. It's strange, but I don't ever want it to go away. I can't sleep at night some nights because there's things.
Oh,
bouncing in my head.
do you keep a pad of paper at the side of the bed so you write things
My
down?
phone.
Right?
If I was to show you my phone, if I was to show you my phone and I empty it into, I'm just singing to voice memo things. I sing it into that. I often think, I wonder how many more songs that Paul McCartney and John Lennon would have written if they'd have had one of those with them all the time. Really, because I've got on there that one I've got the phone I've got now. I empty it into the iTunes thing, so I delete that to give my more space. But I bet I've got 600 little things that have appeared in my head, and not all of them will turn into a song, of course.
Yeah,
not all of them do, and some of them might sit there for 2 years.
I cleaned my phone out about 2 months ago, and I found 245 snippets of songs in there.
No, just ideas, ideas for things, of course, and then I sit and I usually record onto my phone first. Yeah. Just once I've written it all out, I record it and send it to the lads, send it to the lads in the band, and then we get together and change it completely. But
it's the starting point that counts.
Of course,
Excellent. Okay, then Ian, what are you going to sing for us first?
I'm going to do a song called "Until I Find That Road," which we do as a band, but I very rarely play it just acoustically, and I like playing it acoustic. I haven't done it for a while, so this could all go disastrously wrong. But I like playing it acoustic when I used to play acoustic with it. I'm going to take these off because I can't hear my guitar with these on.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
That's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh, that's better. That's better. I can hear myself.
Go for it.
Wherever I go, I will love you. I gotta walk back outside that door. I got a teardrop in my eye, just standing waiting to buy. But I know that I'll be back home to loving you. Wherever I be, I still need you. 'Cause I don't ever let you wander out of my mind. So I know every day we'll be loving in our own way. I'll be hugging my pillow at night, dreaming of you. I gotta go out of my pain. We're gonna live this life better way. We want a home of our own. This family's rapidly growing. There ain't no working sitting around here. So wherever I roam, I still think of you. 'Cause I ain't ever gonna wanna love nobody else. I got a teardrop in my eye, and it feels like I'm gonna cry until I find the road back home to you. Until I find that road back home to you. Until I find that road back home to you. Yeah, I got a teardrop in my eye, and it feels like I'm gonna cry until I find that road back home. until I find that road back home to you. Until I find that road, until I find that road, until I find that road back home to you.
Lovely, great. It's funny because when you were talking before about the idea of the front room with 30 people in it, eating, drinking, smoking, and singing along.
Yes.
That song's got that sort of feel to it.
Oh, great! Yeah, yeah,
You know what
good.
I mean? It comes across quite clearly. Yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Strange, not anyone either booing or cheering.
Well,
I'm going to do it myself. Get off the stage and the rubbish.
there's a
Way
comment,
more.
a comment from Anne John Duggan saying, "Great stuff, Ian. I love a good whistle."
Wait, I do too.
Yeah,
I love a whistle.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Anne John Duggan. I actually do know John Duggan and Anne.
Is it one or two people? That's what I can't work out.
Well, Anne's the husband. She wears the trousers. And Anne and John have been good friends of mine since I was a kid. I've known John since John was my paper boy, my mum and dad's paper boy when I was a kid. John's a little bit older than me, and he was our paper boy. And so I've known John since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. And
Right,
he's lovely.
okay.
And he's lovely. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So, I forgot what I was going to say now. You threw me completely. The sort of transformation from what you come up with to the band. Do you actually hear any sort of when you play the rough songs, the outline of the song on your guitar, and you've got it, and you haven't got it nailed completely, but you're getting some shape to it.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of sort of how the piano will go, or how the bass will go, or?
Yeah, I have a rough idea. Say, I can be playing something that I've written, and I'll play it, and as I'm doing it, I'll hear little bits of bass line, perhaps. I won't hear the whole bass line, but there'll be places where I'll go, the bass should do this at this point here, and then if you do at this point here, and if you fill in the gaps there, well, then I think that'd be great, and the bass player will take it, Alex, and he'll go and make it much better, But I have an idea, and the same with piano, I can tinkle a little bit, but I'm nowhere near as good as Dorian on piano. So I can say to Dorian, when we did the last song on our album is called You Ain't Got Nothing. I wanted.
Was that an off-screen prompt?
There was an off-screen prompt by the director over there. Well, he's not over. He's not over there actually. It looks like he's over there.
He's over there.
I'm pointing that way because this is all strange to me. Look, when you do that, you go, how did that hand move on its own? So when we did that song there, I wanted to have like a Ruben the Cuban, who was a wonderful piano player. His style is fantastic, and so I said to Dorian, go and listen to Ruben. Here's some links. Go and listen to what he plays. But I think if you go dun 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 dun, and I just gave Dorian a rough idea. Yeah, I gave Dorian just a rough idea, but he made it beautiful. He made it stunning. And if you listen to that song, you'll hear the piano in there. But I had rough ideas of what it is, and only in places, not the whole song. But I always have the vocal harmonies.
Right.
As soon as as I'm doing it, I can hear the harmonies. As I'm writing, I can hear the harmonies.
I can picture.
I can generally hear the third as I'm writing it. Yeah. And then it's afterwards I might add a fifth, somewhere else once we've sat down and played it a bit. But I can hear that. So drums I have no idea about. That's the truth. I have to rely on our drummer Grant. So I might come in and he'll try something and I'll go, no, not that. And he'll try something else because he's great. He doesn't go, well, I'm the drummer. I'm going to do it my way. So because he's like Ringo. He sits back, he listens to the songs, he starts just tapping a little bit and you go, oh, that's nice. Now move around with that, and that's how we build the song then, like that rather than. But no, I don't hear drums. I have a rough idea of the sort of groove, but not really because I can't play drums.
But in terms of what you're saying about musicians, is from my own personal point of view, I feel very much like that. I mean, I had a residency for a while when I came back to Manchester, and I had different people all the time, which is why my bands are now called the Movable Feast, because it was a different setup every week. But I never said to them, do this. I might say, not keen on that, but I wouldn't tell them what to do. I might tell them the bits I don't like, and just let them, because if you don't let them do it, well, what you've got there for, you might as well use a machine, you know.
Of course.
And I think it's nice. And the end result, of course, was that even though the same material was played every week, I don't mean just the same song, but you know, it changed because the different feel that different people brought to it, particularly drummers and the bass players. You know, where the groove sat and where they pushed it or whatever.
Well, that song I played earlier.
Yeah.
One day I was my daughter was in a play and she was rehearsing for the play, and I thought we'll go and get a coffee. We were there early. We went to go and get a coffee, and as we walked past this pub, I heard live music, and you can tell the difference between, you know, a CD or something or live music. So I said, oh, let's pop in. I popped in, and this guy said to me, oh, he said, I know you. He said, you're from that band and blah, 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 you know, a band I used to play with. And he said, we supported you one time. And I said, all right, yeah. And I said, what's it up to? And I was chatting to him. He said, do you want to join us? We have a little session every Sunday. And I played that song when I'd first written it.
Right.
Now, they were all folk players.
Right.
So there was a fiddle there.
Yeah.
There was a ballroom drum there. There was, you know, all sorts of stuff. And they made it sound like more like a Ronnie Lane and
I can see that.
Slim Chance. They made it sound like that. And I went, well, that's interesting, because I would never have thought of doing it this way, you know.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. There was a banjo, you know, and you thought that sounds great, you know. So we changed it to be a bit more honky tonk piano and a bit more of a bluesy rock sort of feel on the album.
I mean, the funny you should say Ronnie Lane, because that was one of the things that went through my mind. It has that sort of Ronnie Lane sort of slightly sort of sing along, you know, almost like the sort of Chaz and Davey type thing, you know.
Well, one of the songs we did was I deliberately tried to make it sound a sort of a Chaz and Dave, and you know, even the Small Faces when they do Lazy Sunday Afternoon, that old Lazy Sunday,
exactly, yeah.
So
and some of the Kink stuff.
So we deliberately done that because it just felt the song was that way, you know. So I deliberately sang it that way, and we just deliberately played it that way, you know. So keep it. But talking about Ronnie Lane,
I think the thing about Chaz and Dave is that they were dreadfully underrated as musicians because
they were wonderful.
I mean, I always used to watch the Christmas special because they used to have Albert Lee on it. One of my heroes.
Well.
And there's one clip of it on YouTube where Albert Lee's playing with them and Clapton is in the audience.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get to play. He just sits there with his mouth open.
Oh, of course, watching Albert Lee. I seen him. Was it just before COVID? I seen him at the stables in Milton Keynes. Albert Lee, unbelievably good, good. And when you watch his face, he's smiling the whole time. Fair play. You're enjoying this, and you're letting all of us enjoy it too. He's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I saw him first in 1970. When he was with Heads, Hands and Feet. Yeah. Which, of course, also had one of Chaz and Dave in him as well. And you know, the first time I heard him play, you know, Country Boy, you think, what the hell is that? I mean, where did that come from? You know? But great player.
Oh, yes, unbelievably good.
Who else do you? I mean, you mentioned several bands there, which
Ronnie Lane. I love Ronnie Lane. You know, I love the Small Faces. Someone handed me Odgin's Nut Gone Flake when I was 17.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh, you know, and I'd heard some of the commercial stuff from Small Faces on the radio growing up, but when I heard Odgin's, I just went, oh, Steve Marriott's voice, the songwriting, the melodies are just beautiful, and what they were trying to do. And so I became a massive Small Faces fan. And then obviously when they become just the Faces, you know, I delved into that then and listened to the Faces, and I love that too. Rod Stewart did a great job with them as well. But when Ronnie Lane went to do Slim Chance, I love some of Ronnie's stuff. I think Roll On Babe is one of the greatest songs ever written, just purely because of the instrumentation, the way it just builds, what comes in and out of there. You're going, it's a masterclass on how to take a simple song and make it stunning. And just, I think Ronnie Lane was great at that, and I love the way he lived his life. You know, he was a character, you know, and a very and a kind, loving man, you know, and I like that. You know, I like that.
Can I just interrupt you there, Ian? I've just got a comment come in here from Hugh Blazer.
Yes.
Saying, hi Ian, hi Roland, this is great and I love Ogdens.
It's a great album, wasn't it? But I grew up, my mum and dad played from the Beatles to Willie Nelson, you know, Stevie Wonder, you know, anyone who wrote melodic music, my mum and dad loved. And I ended up loving it too. And then I search out melodies, you know. It's very rare I sit down and practice my guitar, you know, and I should. You know, but I don't. What I do is I search for melodies, you know, and I listen, you know, and I remember, I think it was Arlo Guthrie had said, Ronnie Lane had said that songwriting can be like fishing. You can be sitting there all day and nothing will come, and then all of a sudden 3 will come at once. Right. And Arlo Guthrie said, well, that could be true, but if Bob Dylan would have been upriver, you'd have caught nothing. And I sort of get that. And I get that, but I think it's different than that. I think it's slightly different than that. I think that melodies have been wrapping themselves around this planet, around the universe forever, because we've always had music. There's always been music from when Stone Age people, I'm sure they sang songs. Yeah. I'm sure they did. So we've always had it. So it must be coming from somewhere. It's not coming from me. It's not coming from someone sitting there going, I've just written this great song. There must be something that's going around. And if you just happen to be tuned in, if you just happen to, I just think if you happen to be tuned into it, you might catch the whiff of a melody. Because, like I said, I can be walking along and suddenly I go, what's that noise? And I've learned to live with it now because it's a bit freaky when you're younger and you go, what's going on? There's nothing going on, I can hear music. But I've got used to it, you know, so it must be coming from somewhere. And if you just happen to be tuned into it, you can catch a whiff of a melody and write a whole song from that, or the whole song. And if you don't, someone else will. They'll catch it. And that's what happens.
Well, I just add a few comments to that. A few comments have just come in. Steve Strawhead says, your songs have great melodies. And Colin Campbell's come in. Colin's a friend of mine who's up in Scotland. He says, hi, folks. Great chat here. Melody is everything.
It is.
So there you go. Yeah.
I've always said everything else is just noise. You may as well throw hammers at a wall. Have a cat in the corner going, meow, meow, while someone throws hammers. Because if there's no melody, it's just noise. Honestly, for me, you know, I get that some people want to experiment with music. Well, go and do it over there, please. Don't do it near me. I want to hear melody. Go and fill your boots. Enjoy yourself and fair play to you, but I don't want to hear it.
I know I've said this quote on many occasions on this program, but Stefan Grappelli once said, nobody comes out of a concert whistling the solos.
Yep.
So, you know, and there's a man who knew what a good melody was. I knew what a good solo was, but, you know, he knew what it was.
If it's a good solo, if it's a good melodic solo, you can, you know.
Yeah, but then it's become a melody.
Yeah, it's a melody, absolutely. It's a melody, of course. Yeah, it's the melodies that hook us in. It's those melodies that grab us, you know, and that's what I sit and try and write all the time. I mess around and go, well, I've got a bit of something here that I can hear. Now I need to explore and mess around with it and see what I can get out of this, you know, and that's what I do. And I spend most of my time doing that instead of trying to learn how to play guitar. So...
I think you're doing a good job, Ian. I think you're doing a good. Come on in. Next song, mate. Next song. We're dying to hear more of your melodies.
I'm gonna do a new one. Now this is going to be difficult because I only wrote it a little while ago,
that's all right.
And I brought it straight to the band and went, we should do this. And we played it at the weekend.
Right.
And really, we'd rehearsed it about 3 times. But we turned it into, I mean, in the middle of it, we go into this mad hoop bass line, and it's fantastic, you know, and it really grooves. I can't do that now, obviously. And there's a lot of other things that happen. But I can do this with it, how I wrote it.
Excellent.
Rather think that it's just you On a summer day when everyone else is sleeping, do you think it could be true that we're on our way and that everything is ours for the keeping? Gotta push it now, it won't ever get done. Live the life that we believe in. It's just a step away, so let's not forget. Let's not forget our love is strong. Our love is strong. Our love is strong. Strong. Our love is strong. Our love is strong. Our love is strong. Strong. You know, it's not me to keep it all in, so I have to share this open heart of mine and this feeling. 'Cause it's time for you to open up your eyes to the hypnotized. In this country of the blind, you'll find some meaning. Gotta push it now, it won't ever get done. Live the life that we believe in. It's just a step away, so let's not forget it. Let's not forget our love is strong. Our love is strong. Our love is strong. Strong. Our love is strong. Our love is strong. Our love is standing close together like a hand in glove. Someone once told me that all you need is love. Our love is strong. Our love is strong. Can't take our love away. You can't take our love away. You'll never take it. You'll never take our love. You can't take our love away. You can't take our love away. You'll never take it. You'll never take our love. You can't take our love away. You can't take this love away. You'll never take it. 'Cause our love is strong.
Excellent. I can still see those people in your front room.
Of course.
You're definitely the happiest songwriter that we've had on this show. I don't mean you're the happiest songwriter. You're the happiest songwriter.
Thank you. I try to write upbeat, happy songs because I think that, and you can get away with saying what you want. Then, really, you know what? Well, you can. People don't realise what you're saying sometimes when it's a happy, upbeat song, and hopefully, what happens is if they. I think the idea of writing a happy, upbeat song and you can say what you want in it is purely to the catchy melody catches your ears.
Right.
From there, the ears are the gateway to the heart. It drops into your heart and you start to listen to it more and understand it and you go, I've just realised what they're saying. And I know it happened to me when I've listened to people, when I've listened to songs, and you can drop a message in there. You can say, look what these people are doing to you. Look what they're doing to the homeless people. Why have we got this? Why have we got that? You can drop those messages in with a happy. Now, if you go and do it with a an old folk song beautiful in the folk clubs, but the only people who are going to listen to it are the folkies.
Yeah.
But if you get an upbeat, happy, catchy song,
Yeah.
you've got Mr. and Mrs. Normal out there who might listen to it, and they're the people you need to catch. We don't need to catch the already converted. We need those. We need the unconverted. We need those on our side to spread a bit of love and peace around the world, and understanding and caring. They're the ones we need, because they're not getting it from Ed Sheeran or anyone else. They ain't getting it from any of these young kids. Well, they ain't. They're not getting it from any of these. I'm not knocking Ed Sheeran. I think he's a wonderful musician. I think he's a great songwriter. But I don't hear anyone who's got anything to say nowadays, that about love and peace. So and an upbeat, catchy melody, you can do that. You can get away with putting in what you want. So I like the idea of that, and I can't help it. That's what just happens to come out of me.
I can see that. It's unavoidable for you, isn't it?
I wrote a song called "Wrapped Up in Blue" about when my mum died, and a friend described it to me saying it is the happiest, saddest song I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
And I might play that. Actually, I wasn't going to play that. I was going to play another new one, but I might play that for you so you can see what it means.
Okay, that's a deal. The other thing I was going to say is Tinker's Lane. Tell us a bit about this, because when I heard when you first got in touch with me, it was nothing to do with this, and you'd sent me this stuff in Tinker's Lane, and just from the image of the VW Caravanette and the name, I had a feel for what the music was going to be before I'd heard anything.
Great, that was the idea. That's the idea.
But what was Tinker's Lane? Where did it come from? Is it a place?
Well, I moved out of London down to East Sussex onto a road called Tinker's Lane.
Right.
And I went, when I first moved there, I went, one day I'm going to call a band Tinker's Lane. and I always said I would. And then I wrote a song called Tinker's Lane.
Right.
And so I went, we've got to have that. So when I started searching for new musicians for a new band, I knew I was going to call it Tinker's Lane then.
Right.
But I just love the image of Tinker's Lane, just the very sound of it. Tinker's Lane. We're all little tinkers. We all want a bit of fun, and the idea of tinkers and that gypsy sort of feel. I like that. I like that feel. Like Ronnie Lane.
Exactly. We're back to Ronnie, aren't we?
Absolutely. Yeah. I adore him. Do you know one of the nicest things? When we released The Noise Is Beautiful, I'm pretty good friends with Jeff Travis, who has Rough Trade Records,
right.
And he's a lovely man, and he knows more about music than most people in this country. His ears are amazing. And he still has the largest demo collection in the whole of this country, even now. Unbelievable, and he still listens to them. But he emailed me back saying, it's stunning, it's beautiful. It has empathy, it has humour, and it has beauty. Reminds me of a Ronnie Lane album, a Ronnie Lane record, because he doesn't call them albums, he always calls them records. It reminds me of a Ronnie Lane record, and I went,
the ultimate compliment for you, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I thought I'm getting off on that forever. I'm going to tell everyone.
Absolutely. Treasure it, man. Treasure it.
I do. Yeah. Because but I just love it. That sort of image, and I think the bus does it. We tried first of all with an old hippie type bus, and I thought, no, that's pushing it too much. We're trying to push it in your face. But if we do a VW camper, sit ourselves on top of there, and that way it gives the idea, and then the name it's more of a modern look as well. Yeah. I thought that would work. So, and it does. I think
it does. Yeah, it does. Because I'm not kidding. When I saw that, and I thought, well, I've got a rough idea what this band's going to be about. It's going to be cheerful for a start.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the van's yellow, etc., apart from that being a traditional colour for those, it works well. So what are you up to with the band at the moment? I know you were playing at the Half Moon a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we played the Half Moon. It was great. It was packed. Yeah. Everyone seemed to love us. We sold loads of T-shirts, loads of CDs.
Right.
The thing is, everywhere we go, I promise you, I don't want to sound big-headed here when I say it, but everywhere we go, everyone loves us. It's just getting to go to lots of places and bigger places. That's the hard part, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the part. But I promise you, everywhere we go, you can see it in people's face. People getting up dancing to our songs, and it doesn't happen an awful lot to original music. Because I go and watch other bands, and not many people get up and jump around and want to dance to original music, that they've never heard before. it happens to us all the time, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
going, oh, we're onto something here. This is great. Not only are we bringing a bit of joy and happiness to people and they want to get up and express themselves, they're enjoying the music, but this could work anywhere we go, you know, because it seems to work wherever we go. We've played very sort of rock sort of venues, and people have got up and started dancing and jumping around and joining into our happy sort of cheery music, you know, and you go, I've got leather-clad people jumping around here. It's marvelous. You know, so,
but it does have, you know, when you said about Tinker's Lane, you said is that sort of, you know, the gypsy freedom tinkers, and when you mentioned earlier on Ronnie Lane, which I always associate with this sort of like almost like a circus like
of course,
vibe about it, and it comes across in your songs, and you certainly come across as masses of enthusiasm for what you do, you know.
I've loved music since the day I heard it. It takes me somewhere, and like everyone, Ronald, you know what it's like. You can listen to a song and it can take you back to somewhere or someone.
Absolutely.
Instantly. There's nothing else in the world can do that. Nothing.
No.
You know, it can make me feel good. It can make me sad. It can make me laugh. It can make me want to jump up and down and make me want to dance. Nothing else in the world does that. You know, so, and I know when I play, you know, my wife still says to me sometimes, Ian, you're in a strange mood. Would you just go and play guitar? And it takes my strange mood away. You know, it takes my strange. I know that it's therapeutic for me. You know, to sit and play. It makes me feel nice. It makes me feel good. When I write a song, that's the favourite part of it all. People say they love to perform as their favourite part. It's not for me. It's when I write the song. I feel wonderful inside when I've just written a song. I don't know what it does. I don't know if it's releasing endorphins into me, but I feel wonderful when I've just written a song, more so than when I just step off stage, even though we've had a great gig. I feel better when I've just written a song. So there's something in music that is, well, there is. Scientists have been plugging into people's heads for years now. So
trying to find out what's going on, yeah.
And they're saying that if you just listen to music, you need to use both parts of your brain, which doesn't happen for anything else.
Yeah.
But music is going into parts where you do mathematical solutions. They don't know why that's happening, where you solve problems for something else, where you learn languages. Music's going into all those places. They say that when you start playing an instrument, it's like Blackpool illuminations inside your head, all over. Sparks are going in everywhere. Now, nothing else does that. So it's doing something to us, you know. And if it makes me happy...
I heard a doctor talking about this the other day, saying about this. There's a lot of research recently that has shown that singing is incredibly therapeutic. Not just the fact you're singing with other people, but physiologically, it's very therapeutic. I mean, there's a lot to do with you doing things with other people, and it's got a sense of joy to it in that sense. But he was actually saying that there's a lot of things that go on in your body, whether it's endorphins or whatever. That it creates, and also you're actually using muscles, so it does all sorts of good for you in all sorts of different ways.
I had a problem a few years ago where I kept getting flu about 6 years ago, and so I went to the hospital and they wanted to check on me, and they checked my lungs, and so you have to blow and suck and they'll do all these different things, and they poke you and prod you and put things in you. And the guy said to me, now I smoked most of my life, you know, I don't smoke now, but I smoked most of my life.
Yeah.
And he said, you was a smoker. How old are you again? I said, I'm 50, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you have the lungs of a 25-year-old. He said, they're in fantastic shape, your lungs. Now, that can only be because I sing all day, you know, and I do, you know, if I'm in the car, I sing. If I'm at home, I sing, you know, no matter where I am, I've always got a tune in my head. And again, that might be what's keeping me happy. Of course, and I don't care. I'll sing walking around the shops, you know. I don't care. People look at me and think he's strange. You know, I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time. And I'm looking at them going, why aren't you? Because you look miserable. Start singing, you know. There's something in it. There's something in music. And that's what, it's not just the only one reason I love it. I love it for many reasons. I love listening to songwriters, what songwriters have done. You go, oh, when am I write a song as good as that? I need to write a song as good as that one day. Someone help me to write a song as good as that. And I love discovering new people, you know, and old people that I've never heard before. Someone introduced me to John D. Loudermilk a year or two ago, and you just go, what a songwriter! You went, how have I never heard of him? You just go, what a country songwriter! Just the way he moved around with the melodies as well. Oh, so there's so much to discover, isn't there, in music?
Absolutely.
It's endless.
Yeah.
It's endless. Yep.
Endless.
Yeah.
So let's have another song. What's it going to be
Well,
this
I was
time?
going to do another new one, but I'm going to do Wrapped Up in Blue now. We mentioned it.
Okay, yeah,
So,
that'd be interesting. This is about your mum.
well, when my mum died, a strange thing happened to me. Every time I picked up my guitar to play, I could hear my mum singing the perfect harmony in my ear. Now, I know you might think that's strange, and I did too, because I promise you, I know my mum's voice. I grew up with my mum singing around the house, and I watched her perform all over the place. So, and it was unmistakably my mum's voice in my ears, and it freaked me out a bit, but I got used to it. But every time I tried to write a new song, it's not like I was doing a cover where I could just imagine her singing it. The cover. I'm trying to write new songs. That's what I do all the time. So I'd have a little tune in my head. I'd pick up my guitar and do something, and I would hear my mum instantly following where I'm going when I don't know where I'm going yet. I'm still busting it, trying to weave my vocal melody through what I'm playing. And it happened a lot. And it took me a while to get used to it, as I say, but I got used to it. And so one night, years later, on the anniversary of her dying, I was out gigging. I came home. I'd had a few beers. I picked up a bottle of wine, and I looked at the picture of him on the wall in the front room, and I went, "I miss you." And as we all do, you can get a bit emotional, especially if you've had a few beers, and I had a bottle of wine, and I said, "I still miss you," and a couple of tears and things. And I promise you, as if my guitar was glowing over there. And I went, now I don't usually play if I've had a drink. I don't ever play. I don't go on stage with a drink or anything. I don't do it. I don't drink 2 or 3 pints because I forget everything. And I don't generally play if I've had a few beers at home. I won't play the guitar. I used to. I used to get on stages on all states. But the guitar was almost winking at me. I went over and picked it up, and I had never played this sequence before in my life, and just went. And I'd never played that before. It wasn't something that I'd been messing with. It just came, and the song flew out without trying or anything. It flew out with my mum singing the perfect harmony to me as I done it. And then I got a pen and paper because the words were just coming out, and wrote it all down as I did it. And within half an hour, I'd finished the song. Right. And when I played it back to myself, when I got it all down, all the lyrics all written down, I couldn't stop crying as I was doing it. Honest, that's how much it affected me. But it was, and I felt my mum's there. It was like she was wrapped up in blue. As I'm wrapped up in sadness, but it feels okay when you're here. So that's the idea, of the song. Brilliant. So, but yeah, it goes. I can take these off now, can't I?
Yeah.
There's flowers over there, chill in the air, clouds have been waiting for you. And I woke up today, wish that it all would go away. They say that one day at a time is the way we'll get through. But I take my day just as it comes, wrapped up in blue. Oh, but that don't mean nothing. I don't have you, but I feel that I need you when I'm wrapped up in you. So I ride my dreams come true. And I fly with my When I hear you singing my ears, that I'm singing you, then I know that I won't be so long. I'm wrapped up in you. Can't whistle that. Double whistle for John. I hear you singing my ears and singing you. Then I know that I won't be so long. I'm wrapped up in you. Oh, but that don't mean nothing. I don't have you, but I feel that I need you. When I'm wrapped up in you. No, no, I don't know nothing. I don't have you, but I feel that I need you. When I'm wrapped in blue, wrapped up in blue, wrapped up in blue, wrapped up in blue.
Lovely. Lovely.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you.
Great song, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it. It's personal for me, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yeah, I love that.
Got a comment here from Sarah Light that says, Ed's crying again.
Ah, that's my brother.
Right.
He cries every time he hears that song.
Oh, that's lovely. Can I say that's lovely? It sounds, yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's lovely. Of course, you should cry at things like that. Absolutely, we should cry at things like that. Of course.
Yeah, excellent.
Don't be scared of it.
It's been an absolute delight chatting to you, mate. It's
marvellous. Listen, we had a great chat just when I phoned you that day. And I can say this, I'm sure, on here. You rang me for the first time. The first time you ever rang me, and I was sitting on the toilet, and I thought, I can't answer the phone and go, hi, Roland, I'm just sitting having a... So I thought, I won't answer it now, and I'll ring you back later. And we was on the phone, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, laughing, giggling, talking about music, laughing again, and talking about music. So an absolute pleasure, Roland, honestly. A pleasure to be in your company, even if it's only virtually.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's been fun for me, I have to admit. So, tell you, would you like to squeeze another song in?
Yeah, if you've got time, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
All right.
Squeeze a quickie in. I don't know how many you've done. I've lost track.
Oh, loads. We could be here for a good few weeks. It's a new one. Let's try this. Hold on. Forgive me if I mess this one up. If you care, I care with you. If you dream, I'm tagging along, dreaming for two. If you love me, I'm a lover too. And if you want to change this world, I'm with you. 'Cause there's something that I know your heart and soul will go. If you live your life with love, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. And if you fight for all that's right, and if you know you're right and wrong, I'm with you. And if you did to believe, then you'll know there's a better place we can achieve. God, there's something that I know your heart and soul will go. If you live your life in love every day, so I'll wear mine on my sleeve, and I'm ready to see the wonders of this life, 'cause I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. Your need is love. My need is love. Our need is love. Your need is love. Yes, there's one thing that I know. Your heart and soul will go. If you live your life in love every day. So I'll wear mine on my sleeve, and I'm ready to receive the wonders of this life, 'cause I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Your need is love. My need is love. Our need is love. Your need is love. Your need is love, love. Your need is love, love. My need is love. And your need is love. Gimme, 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 gimme your loving. I give you all of my loving. My need is love. Your need is love. My need is love. Your need is love. And I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ba ba da. Ba ba da. Ba ba da. Ba ba da. I'm with you. Thank you. That's good. I'm with you.
Brilliant, Ian. Thanks,
Ah,
mate.
thank you, Ronald. Thank you.
It's fantastic. Just
Thank you.
great, happy songs, and I don't think I've met anybody with more enthusiasm for music than you've got, mate.
Thank you. Thank
So-
you. That's very kind.
See you again soon. Cheers.
Cheers, Ron. We'll talk soon. I'll ring
Yeah.
you.
Definitely. I'll tell you where I am.
Yes. Just don't be in the toilet.
I won't. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Ronald. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Oh, what a star. Irrepressible, I think, is the word I'm looking for. That was Mr. Ian Roberts. Some songs from his repertoire with Tinker's Lane. Worth checking out if he's in neck of the woods. So you can find him at, where is it there? tinkers-lane.com. So that's all from me for this evening. I'll be back again next week with somebody. And again, I forgot to write it down, so I can't say who will be on next week. But there are several people lined up. And if any of you happen to be in North London, and as I say, I'm playing at, I think it's called the Bit. It's disappeared again. Babel. on Babel Arts Centre in North 16 at 9 o'clock next Friday. So if you're in that area, then do drop in. Failing that, I shall see you next week. Look after yourself and have fun. Okay, cheers, guys. Bye.